Hi my lovely witches, it's Ethony and welcome back to my channel. I have been sent 6 new books on the craft which I wanted to share with you and give you my little mini review. If you need a new book to snuggle up with this winter or you're looking for a Yuletime gift, this is a perfect video for you. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you want more videos on tarot and witchcraft, and let's jump into the magical books I have been recently sent. The first book is called The Modern Craft, and it is a collection of 15 essays from different witches from all over the world on different paths. This is a wonderful book if you're looking to digest some new information and look outside yourself as a witch for different paradigms, perspectives, and points of view. What I really like about this book, it is very easy to digest. Some of the essays are a few pages long and some of them are a little shorter, but you are going to get quite a lot of information in those essays. Some of the essays include ethics of decolonization, gender and traditional hierarchies, disabilities, accessibilities and paganism. One of my favorite pieces was actually around online witchcraft communities, which I have a few things to say about that, being a high priestess of an online coven. And this was such a powerful statement. There is a strange silence surrounding the cattiness, infighting, dramatics, backstabbing, and mudslinging, both virtually and magical, among witches. And I have seen this myself so personally. I don't stand for any bullshit in my online spaces. I have one rule, it's don't be a cunt, and if you are one, then see you later. But I have seen it in our communities, in our tarot communities, in our witchcraft communities, that people just bring their shit to the space, and from someone who has learnt from traditional covens that you're not to bring your shit to spaces. It was such a fantastic read. I highly recommend that one. Another really good one was on romanticizing the aesthetic of witch hunts. And we can see this especially around the time of year when it's October and everyone's talking about Salem, and you know, even Hocus Pocus does it to a degree, and I love that movie. But it was an interesting perspective and point of view to take on and to really think about. And ultimately that is what this book does so very well. When you have 15 different perspectives on these challenging subjects, you may not agree with all of them, but it's certainly going to give you a point of view to think about and for you to do some reflection on where you're at with your own practice and maybe some prejudices that need to be broken down within yourself so you can grow further. So that is The Modern Craft, Powerful Voices on Witchcraft Ethics, and I recommend it if that is what you're looking for. Go for a bit of a deep dive. The next book I received is from the Seed Sisters, and I have never heard of them before, which doesn't mean really anything because it's a big wild world out there, but this is called Poison Prescriptions, and it is such a fascinating read. So they go into a deep dive with Hensbane, Datura and Belladonna. These are 3 pretty infamous poisons or herbs that you do not want to kind of mess with. And they look at actually the healing perspectives of these herbs and what you can do to incorporate them in your craft. Now, not only is this book beautifully presented, but the illustrations by Silva DeMajo are so beautiful. It really makes reading this book just such a pleasure. There are powerful spells and rituals that encourage your own connection to plant magic and healing on every level, and especially with these big three in that poison sort of category. There's a wonderful chapter on flying ointments, which is something that a lot of witches, hedge witches, witches who do astral travel and those rituals would really find fascinating. There are recipes on how to make your own flying ointments as well. I would absolutely recommend this to anyone who has a pretty good hold on the basics of plant magic and who want to look at something a little bit more advanced or a little bit more meaty, and definitely for those who are into green witchcraft, herbal magic and herbal healing, and of course hedge witchery. My next book is Burn a Black Candle, and this was a book I was so pleasantly surprised at. This is by D. Norman, and it is an Italian-American grimoire, and I have to admit, maybe it's because I so love the Golden Girls that half the time I was thinking of Sophia telling stories about some of the things in this book. This is a complete step-by-step magical book. Dee covers everything to build a practice with her traditional roots in Italian magic. So the basics like what is magic, ethics, centering, psychic abilities, and all those 101 basics are included in this book. What I really love was some of the very Italian magic extras. So working with your ancestors, working with the saints, and working with other beings was really, really fascinating from an Italian-American witchcraft standpoint. There is a lot on candle magic, and there are some really juicy spells in there, things that I'm absolutely going to look at adding to my practice. And I loved the chapter on what is considered good luck and bad luck in Italian American witchcraft. And it was just super fascinating. Like, if you drop a loaf of bread, you have to kiss it. And I've heard the one of like not giving an empty wallet to somebody, but there were some really interesting ones in there. And of course, she covers the evil eye. Many of us know that symbol very well. If you know of anyone who has Italian backgrounds or ancestry or Strega magic, or anyone who's interested in that type of magical systems, I highly recommend this. Now, the next book that I have been sent has been published for a while, but it's the first time I've been able to get my hands on a copy, and it is Rebel Witch by the one and only Kellyanne Maddox. And it is such a great book. It is a book that I will be recommending to beginners to read, and I really feel as though with this book you're sitting down with a cup of tea with Kellyanne Maddox and you're having a really good chat about magic and what it means, and breaking down a lot of maybe the barriers that people have to access their own rebellious witchcraft side. This book is absolutely laid out for the beginner, but it'll also give some fantastic treats and things to chew on for those who have been practicing the craft for a while. The wonderful thing about Kellyanne Maddox in her writing style is that while it is conversational, you know that she knows her shit. She's very warm and engaging, but incredibly intellectual as well, and you're going to come away from this book with a lot of newfound sort of depths to your own craft. A lot is covered in this book. There's tools, common questions for the craft, challenges of being a witch, ethics, shadow work, of course, which is something that Kellyanne Maddox is well known for, is her work with shadow work. So she does spend a chapter working on that. The other thing I really liked about this book is that there are sections in it that have writing prompts and things for you to question yourself and ask yourself and reflect on. And then there are practices. So it kind of gets broken into some theory and then some questions and then some practice. So it's a really easy format to follow. As I mentioned, it's a book that I'm going to be recommending to a lot of people. And if you're looking for a 101 book for a new era of witchcraft, I would highly recommend this book. The next book is A Witch's Feast, a kitchen witch's grimoire, and oh, everything in here looks so freaking delicious. I cannot even. I don't know what is this pink cake, but I want this pink cake and I want it now. This is such a cool idea, and it is so beautiful to look at. This book is by Melissa Jane Madra, and it is just gorgeous. Even if this was a coffee table book, this is just something that you can really feast on with your eyes. The food looks amazing. Whether you want to organize a feast with your ancestors, plan an equinox or solstice meal, there is something in it for everyone. The only thing I do really wish is that there was a meal for every Sabbath, but I get that Sabbats are more Wiccan than they are for the witch, so the solstices and the equinoxes are put in there, so that's pretty cool. It's more around the astrology. So there's a feast for every zodiac sign, which is really cool. I love that idea. There's new moon feast, full moon feast, and spells, food spells. There's a lovely big section on different food magic, which is so cool. Not only is this book really freaking beautiful to look at, but if you love cooking, I highly recommend you get a copy. If you are a kitchen witch as well, this is a fantastic tool for your kitchen. And I mean, it should get a little bit dirty and sticky as all good cookbooks do, but it is also just so beautiful. So this, I think, will be on a few people's wish list for Christmas or Yule, and it is really very beautiful, and I can't wait to try some of these tasty recipes. And finally, I have the Novice Witches and Apprentice Wizards book. This is by Liminal 11, and it is a guide, well, an illustrated guide through magic and through different aspects of the craft. The book is by Francesca Mattioni and illustrated by Eliza Massarari, and I've probably butchered those names. If you want to know the who, what and why of important figures in magic in different times and places and traditions, this is a great little introduction. They also have information on tools, animals, practices and spells in an easy to digest format. This is such a beautiful book to just even look through. It is a wonderful idea for those who like small pieces of information that are also visually appealing, and it would be a lovely coffee book, like something that you could pop on your coffee table if you were out of the broom closet for sure. My favorite part of this book is definitely the section on people in witchcraft from around the world. There were some people in there that I had never even heard of. There were mythological people like Merlin and Gandalf, who's from fantasy, but there's like John Dee and, you know, Crowley and Maria Laveau, and it's just a very wonderful introduction to something that can be quite boring for some people, history, even though I quite love history. So this is by Liminal 11, and it is a beautiful illustrated introduction to the world of magic. Look at those hardcover goodies. I have got a massive pile beside my bed now for all these books that these are the ones I've been reading, let alone the new books that I've had come in. What are you reading at the moment? Let me know in the comments below if you have a fantastic, I have to read, gotta go get it right now, book on the craft that I need to know. And I will see you all next time.